It's always a good idea to label your quilt. After all, it might become a family heirloom. And on a pessimistic note, if it gets lost, at least it has a label on it and can be returned to you. I always label my quilts. Now, you can make the labels by hand or in the printer on the computer. So I'm just going to show you the way I choose to make the label and attach it to the sleeve before I add the sleeve to the quilt. First of all, you need to type in the text for your quilt. I usually put the title of the quilt. You can put your address or your website or your email address. Then I put the date and the size of the quilt and then what kind of wadding I used, because that's always useful to know afterwards. I quite like to change the colour, and because this particular quilt is green and pink, those are the colours I've chosen. So to change the colour, go into colour on your computer where the paint is and just choose the colour you want. I chose red for the text. Then go into format and look for borders and shading, and then you can add a border. And then I wanted to change the colour, so I went back into format, borders and shading, and I changed the colour to green. So now we have red text and a green border. Of course, you don't have to use a computer. You can make labels by hand, and there are some handy little books with labels that you can copy, and there are special pens for writing on fabric. When I'm making the label, I use calico for printing on, and I use this ruler because it's a non-slip A4 from Creative Grids, and I cut out a piece of calico slightly smaller than the A4 size, but this is very good for getting the corners right. And then I get a piece of card, which is A4 size, and I lay my calico on the card, giving myself a little border all the way around, and then I use Scotch tape. You can't use sellotape for this because it melts in the printer. And then I just tape it down. So now that's all taped down to the card, and all we have to do now is print it. Just make sure you've got no extra little bits on top. Just brush them away because you don't want those to go into the printer. I always take the paper out of the printer so that I just have the card in it. When you've printed it, carefully peel it off the card and take the tape away, and then press the long edges in just over 1/4 of an inch each side, so that your label is ready to go on the sleeve.